fine. It's fine. Hi everyone, and welcome to our red velvet whoopie pie making today.
Yay!
It's your favourite, isn't it? Yeah. So as usual, we're going to hang on for people to sign in, log in, and find the post. We have put a link today from our event notification to our Facebook page, so hopefully everyone will find us all right. We've got quite a few people joining us from different parts of the world too, because we had a little issue over when was 2 p.m. today, which is quite funny. So if you're here, great chance to wash your hands if you need to wash your hands. And we've already done that, haven't we? Yep. So, yeah, you haven't. Oh, all right then. You go and do that. Say hi though. Tell us who you are, where you're from, who you're baking with. If it's your first time here, or whether you've done one of our workshops before.
We've already got highs from Carol, Jill, Heather, Alfie, Rona,
Hiya.
Penelope.
Go on then, Erin. So Erin's actually going to be cooking today because my wrist has gone again and it's very, very painful and it's my writing hand. I am right-handed, so I can't do much with it.
So I will be doing all the baking.
You are going to do all the baking for me, but you're quite happy with that because this is your favourite treat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got Nigel on narrowboats, Marianne with us.
Hiya.
We've got Christine, Helen and Sue. Sue's first time, as is Jenny.
Oh, nice to have you with us. Thanks for joining us.
Emma Louise from Isle of Wight.
Hiya. Oh, that's not too far away, just a little bit of water separating us.
Hello's from Peter and Alison, and Sarah from Crawley.
Hiya. We'll give everyone a couple of minutes.
Because we did start a few minutes early, just a few.
Got Anne from North Tyneside, it's her first time joining us.
Hiya. This is a really popular one actually. I think it's scones, cinnamon buns, and then this has had the biggest...
Nobody cannot like red velvet cake.
Wow, I know. It's a yummy cake, isn't it?
We've got Imogen aged 8 and Bethany aged 3, excited to make these.
I bet you are. They're really good, and they're good fun to make as well. They don't take too long. And unlike some of our bakes, you can pretty much eat them straight away.
Here's 3 types using red velvet cake, which is easy, because you could maybe make red velvet swans.
Yeah, you could.
But here's 3 things which is simple. Cupcakes, whoopie pies, and the big cake.
Well, the reason we've gone for whoopie pies is because they're really quick, and I don't know if anyone else has found this, but cupcake cases are really, really difficult to find right now. It's like the new toilet roll. So, it is. So we wanted to be able to do a sponge which was without having to use those or any specialised tins or anything like that. So just a baking tray is needed today with a bit of baking paper to put your whoopie pies on. Right.
So, more hellos. We've got hello from Marianne and Ruben, aged 9.
You can say hello if you want.
Flynn.
Hi.
We've got Flynn, aged 4 from Bath.
Hiya.
Lara, aged 3 from Oxford. Theo, 5 and Carmen in Southampton.
Hello.
Jane saying hello from Bristol. Gina and Tara in Birmingham.
Everyone. Brilliant. What was I going to say? I had something on my mind. Go on, Mr.
We've already had asked, do we need to prep anything?
Okay, so you can prep your oven to 185 degrees or 165 fan or gas mark. It's kind of like 4.5. So if you want to do that now you can, but we will put that reminder out again. And what we normally do for anyone that's joining us for the first time is just to try and keep in time with you guys is we ask you to just give a little like when you've completed a stage, just so we know when to move on and keep the right pace for you.
Answer to Liz's question, do we save these on Facebook page? Yes we do, and we also upload them to YouTube.
Yes. We have we've got them, they will save automatically after we've finished. It takes a few minutes to upload. And then, yes, we've got a YouTube channel, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can they tell us if they go for something more challenging with using red velvet cake? Like types.
Oh, well, what we'll do is we'll say, send us your pictures. So if you do
Yeah.
end up using the mix to make cupcakes or anything, send anything you make today, send it as a photo to us because we love seeing them all, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah? Right.
I might want to try and make an apple out of red velvet cake.
An apple out of red velvet cake. You can do that another day because that sounds complicated. Right. Shall we get baking then? So the first thing we're going to do is...
buttermilk.
Yeah, but it's not with the butter, Erin.
Wait, what?
No.
It's called buttermilk.
Yeah, but it's not. I know, it's confusing. We're going to use 110 millilitres of milk, and we're going to make it into buttermilk by adding a little bit of lemon juice.
Buttermilk.
I know, but it's not.
That's so confusing.
So basically we're going to sour the milk by putting in some lemon juice. So do you want to get a big spoon?
That's big.
Yeah, that's fine. And you're going to, over here, not in the bowl, we're going to use that and we're going to put a tablespoon of lemon juice into our 110 ml of milk. So keep going, make sure it's full. If it goes over slightly, it's fine.
Careful.
Keep going.
I don't want to go.
It's fine.
I don't
That's
want
brilliant.
to go.
That's it. Then tip that in and give it a stir, Erin, and see if it thickens. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were just going to say in here.
So Erin hasn't made this so much, but we decided not to rehearse because Erin quite likes the idea of learning alongside of you guys.
Yeah, I eat them, but I didn't really bake them
No.
because I just like eating them.
So that's it. So give it a stir. You might find it thickens, it might not. It's probably dependent on how hot or cold or room temperature your milk is. But it's fine. Whatever it does is fine. But we're going to leave that to one side. Can you see any difference?
No.
No? Okay. Well, let's just pop that to one side.
Now butter?
In a minute. So that was 110 ml of milk and a tablespoon of lemon juice stirred together to create a sort of buttermilk.
Let me show you them the size of the spoon. This size to put the lemon juice in, and you put it over the jug of milk.
There we go. Put it back in then.
Otherwise you could spill it.
You're going to put it back in for now?
Wait.
Put your spoon back in and then it saves it getting messy. There we go. Right. Are we got any questions or are we doing all right so far?
Thumbs up are coming through. Lara's asked to say hi. She's 3 and waiting with anticipation.
Excellent.
Some people have watched our other videos because we didn't ask them to put a thumbs up.
I have. Can everyone hear Erin or do I need to move the microphone over?
Or do I just need to stop talking?
No, you're fine.
Yay.
Rona's buttermilk has already gone thicker.
Excellent. Right, so we're going to add to that 120 grams of softened butter. That's just unsalted butter. Erin, do you want to get a spoon, sweetheart?
For the buttermilk, can you use fresh lemon?
Bigger spoon. Yes, as long as it's acidic. No, bigger still. Yeah, that'll
and they
do.
can all hear Erin.
Good. Either. Okay, you're going to scoop that into the bowl for me. Well done. The reason we want this to be softer is just to help with stirring it into the mix. That's it, Erin. Well done. Should we put that over where we can't see? There we go.
Then
Hang on. And then to your butter, I just want to give you a bit of time in case you haven't weighed that out. It's no problem.
I'm just going to stuff in.
You can start
Can you
creaming
repeat
it.
how much butter?
So that's 120 grams of the softened butter. 120. And all Erin's doing at the moment is just beating it to make it a bit softer
Yeah, if you're at the same stage each, then just soften it just a bit with using the back of the spoon and pressing it.
Well done. Okay.
And Erin, you got a hi from Isabel.
Yay!
You're saying hi back?
Hi.
No, it'd be good. Right.
Kathleen's just joined us a little bit late. Can you just repeat what's happened so far?
No problem. So it is 110 millilitres of milk with a tablespoon of lemon juice stirred together to create a kind of buttermilk there. And then we've just weighed out 120 grams of butter.
You can
which Erin's just softening a bit in the bowl.
Yeah, you can soften it like this. It'll make it easier for you.
Okay.
And the oven is set at 185 degrees centigrade, 165 for fan, or gas mark 4.5-ish.
Right, to that mix, we're going to add 140 grams of brown sugar. Now we're using light brown sugar. That's fine, Erin. It's going to come off in a minute. Don't worry. So that's 140 grams of light brown sugar. If you're using dark or you don't have brown sugar and you're using caster sugar, they will all work. It just changes the taste slightly, but it will still sweeten. So that's 140 grams of light brown sugar going in with the butter.
I don't think that is going to be that much.
You're fine. So you want to stir the sugar in until you can't see the sugar anymore. It's fine, keep going. You'll be surprised. Look at those muscles. Keep going. Careful, because if you go too fast, you'll end up with most of it out of the bowl.
Sorry. Can somebody just take this?
Hang on. If you're wondering why I'm one arm down, I've hurt my wrist again. I've struggled recently with repetitive strain. I think that's what I've done, but it's very, very sore today. So Erin is doing the baking for me today.
Gina's asked have we added buttermilk yet?
No, the buttermilk is just on the side. I just wanted that to start forming into and just leaving to be a really good buttermilk for the cake. So that was just the first thing we did for preparation, but we haven't put it in yet. It's just the butter and the sugar that we're mixing together.
Still do the same. Get that back and do that. And then also you can stir it a
So
bit.
Erin's using the back of the spoon to press it into each other and combine it, which you can do. If you do find it is quite hard, you can always put your butter, even with the sugar, just in the microwave for 5-10 seconds just to soften it.
Never.
How you doing, Erin?
Right.
How's everyone else doing? You got some thumbs up?
This is how it should be looking like.
Yeah, it's nicely combined. You've got a few bits of butter there, but not too much.
Yeah, I see the yellow. It's very fascinating because when you have the butter, which is yellow, and you see it with the brown sugar, and it's like this, and then you just push it like that, then there goes like a white line.
Well done.
How much lemon juice was it in the buttermilk?
Hang on, darling. It's 1 tablespoon of lemon juice in the milk. As I said, that's just in a jug on the side at the moment. We've just combined the butter and the sugar. That looks really good.
Hang on, we need a spoon to scrape this off.
Okay.
How much brown sugar is it again?
It's 140 grams of brown sugar and it's 120 grams of the butter.
Okay.
So slightly more sugar to the butter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Right, so now we are going to add the egg. So we're using...
I love cracking.
I know you do. So we're not going to try and crack the egg on the side of our bowl because it's plastic. We're going to crack it on the side of our metal spoon over the bowl. So Erin...
Hang on, there.
So are you going to show them how to do it? You can use that spoon, it's fine. You're going to show them how to do it?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Get it? Smack it like this.
That's it.
Then get your thumbs, open it, and don't let any shells in. So you have to like get your fingers. It's a bit messy with just a bit of yolk by cracking it inside.
You prized it open with your thumbs, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
That's it. There we go. And there's no shell in that.
You don't do it like this. Yeah.
No. There you go. Stir it in there.
Okay.
So if you do happen to get shell in it, Erin, just lightly, darling. If you do happen to get shell in it, you can actually use the eggshell to scoop out the little bit of shell in your mix. And then we're going to give that a mix into the butter and the sugar. At machine pace, apparently.
I want my red velvet cake.
You want your red velvet cake.
I mean,
It won't go any faster. It's fine. Just combine it. That looks great. You can stop there.
Oh.
Brilliant. Right. Shall we just make sure that everyone is with us? Yeah. So we'll just wait for some thumbs up that you've got a nice combined mix, and I'm going to show it to you. That's what we've got at the moment.
There's no like doing this anymore.
No, you don't need to use the back of your spoon anymore.
Yeah!
Well, you don't want to use the back of your spoon anymore because you want to get some air in this now, don't you?
Yeah.
So you want to have like a more of a whipping motion.
Yes.
Look, Daddy's saying that there's some thumbs up.
So you just do this for about, probably about 5 minutes?
No, that's fine, Erin.
James just asked, was that the whole egg or just the yolk?
That was the whole egg, yeah.
Just I just wanted my whoopie pie, so I just did it very quickly.
Right then. We're going to add to that. Now, I have to apologise to you because I changed the quantity to a lesser amount on our ingredients list, but I am aware there was another post around which has the higher amount, so I'm just going to confirm we're putting in 200 grams of self-raising flour. I reduced it from 250 to 200. Hang on, Erin, because I tried both. Originally I did the recipe with 200 and then I thought maybe we'll put some more in, tried it, didn't like it, so I reduced it to 200 grams of self-raising flour. Now to that, Erin, before we put it in, we're going to add half a teaspoon of baking powder. Sorry, hang on, Mr. Busy Baker is on it. Otherwise it might go poof in our faces.
Oh yeah.
Right, thank you. Okay, so you want half a teaspoon into the flour. That's not half. That's a little less than half. Bit less. Come on, Erin, maths. Half. Yeah, that'll do. Right, put it into the flour.
Let me just do a tad.
Okay, go on then. So that's half a teaspoon of baking powder. Are you going to be good? Okay. And then we're going to add to the flour again. So I'm not putting anything in with the butter mix at the moment. Erin, you're going to need a big spoon.
Oh, big spoon.
Okay. And you want 2 tablespoons of cocoa.
Is this a tablespoon?
Yeah, that's fine. Put it in with the flour. So originally,
It looks like a volcano.
originally red velvet cake. It is a cocoa-based cake. You don't see it because you see the red. But originally, do you want to put it in there actually, Erin? That's it. Originally, the red from the red velvet came from the type of cocoa powder that was used, which was very, very rich. Hang on, darling.
Can I just say something?
Hang on. It was very, very rich, and the cocoa actually gave it its red colour. These days, you'll find that it'll be something like a beetroot powder or red colouring that create that red.
How much flour?
So that was 200 grams of self-raising flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and 2 tablespoons of cocoa. I'll tell you what we did forget as well. A bit of vanilla essence. I know. So could you take the lid off that for me? So lined up, as Erin's done it quite nicely at the moment. Oh, sorry, sweetheart. Is we've got the buttermilk that we've created, the dry ingredients, and your hang on, sweetie, and your butter mix. Are we all okay with that? Hang on.
Are they heaped spoons of cocoa?
They are if you're Erin. It won't make too much difference, but you can do level. We did heaped.
Is hot chocolate the same as cocoa powder?
It's not. It's lighter. It doesn't have the same richness to it. You can use it. You're not going to get that real depth of flavour that cocoa gives because hot chocolate powder is sweetened, whereas cocoa is bitter. It's all chocolate.
And can you sieve it in directly?
Directly to what? Sorry, that's a comment, isn't it? So all the dry ingredients we're going to sieve, but we're going to do a bit of the dry ingredients, and then we're going to put some buttermilk in, and then a bit of the dry, and then some buttermilk. So we're going to do it bit by bit until we've combined it all now. So Erin, did you put the vanilla essence in there?
No.
Okay, so before we put the buttermilk and the dry ingredients in, we're just going to add half a teaspoon of the vanilla to the mix. Can you do that? If you do it over the bowl, if you spill some, it won't go on the table. That's it. That's lovely, Erin. Yeah, that's fine.
Should I do a bit more?
No, that's fine. That's it. Put it all in. Perfect. Can you reach over there and put it in the dirty bowl? Well done. And put the lid on.
Emma's asked, can you add something with texture like walnuts?
Yeah, you can. Unlike You can give that stir by the way for a
Can
minute.
I say something?
Hang on. You can, but these aren't going to rise like a cupcake. They're going to spread slightly. So if you use something too big, you're going to have very bobbly looking whoopie pies. If you use something like chocolate chips, however, they will obviously melt in with your whoopie pie.
Or you can just do it around the cream cheese.
You could decorate it afterwards with things, but you can try. But I'd keep your, whatever you add extras, I would make sure they're small, because these are going to be like little mini burger buns in look, so you're not going to have a lot of depth.
Have a look at it.
Is there an alternative to cocoa powder?
Well, it's it gets its name from the cocoa powder. The red velvet is very much about the cocoa. If you don't have cocoa powder, you can try using a hot chocolate powder, but it isn't going to give you the depth. Alternatively, if you leave the cocoa powder out, you'll need to add a little bit of flour, but you could add something like lemon zest and just change the whole flavour. So it's not, you don't have to, you will end up with the velvet whoopie pie, which is the buttermilk side, which gives it that velvety texture, but it won't be a true red velvet cake without that cocoa. But have a go. So if you don't have cocoa but you're wanting to make it, either use the hot chocolate powder instead, and then next time if you've got some cocoa powder you can try it with that, or alternatively add a couple of tablespoons of extra flour and add something like some lemon zest and make a different kind of whoopie pie.
And Shanina missed the buttermilk bit, but she's got everything
So the buttermilk is 110 ml of milk and a tablespoon of lemon juice combined.
Tablespoon.
Right then, Erin, we're all good to go. So,
Can I just say
Edgar's asked, can you use milk instead of buttermilk?
you can, but you're not going to get the velvety texture. What you can do, Edgar, if you haven't got lemon juice, but you have got white wine vinegar or a cider vinegar, you can add a teaspoon of that. But that's, if you don't like a buttermilk taste, just use milk, it's fine. But if you do want the buttermilk but you don't have lemon juice, try a vinegar product. It's just needing to have some acid in with the alkaline of the milk.
Can we remind them what's in here?
Jane's asking, when do you add the red colouring?
So I'm going to add the red colouring once I've got a bit more of batter formed and it's a bit more combined. So Erin, do you want to get the sieve now, sweetheart?
But first, can we tell them what's in this?
Well, so in here you've got your butter, your sugar, your egg, your baking powder, and your vanilla essence.
Yeah.
Right, so Erin, what I want to do is put a bit of the make sure that sits on top of the bowl, that's it. We're going to put some of the powder, but not all of it, the dry ingredients. Keep going, go on then, can you do that?
Yeah.
Well done. We're going to combine it bit by bit so we don't end up with something too lumpy or thin. There we go.
Sue's added all the dry ingredients in with the egg and butter. Is that going to be a problem?
Just add all your buttermilk in. Just add it all in and give it a stir. Right, okay.
And we've got quite a few people who've joined us late. Just to let you know, this will go live after. We will post this on Facebook afterwards and add it to YouTube later in the week.
So Erin's putting about half the dry mixture at the moment.
I really want to stir it fast, but then
Can you make it without baking powder?
If you're using self-raising, you should be alright. You're going to have the reaction with the buttermilk anyway, so you should be fine. Right.
If you have self-raising, don't put the baking powder.
Yeah, no, we did, darling.
Yeah, but if you have self-raising,
Yeah.
oh, then never mind.
Right, okay, so we're going to put some of the buttermilk in to thin that out again.
Yeah, I know this part.
So we'll put about half of it in.
I know this part.
It is quite a thick batter that it creates because we're not using a case to contain it. We're going to be spooning it out onto the tray.
It's like you're making chocolate cake, but there's lemon juice and you
Hang
have
on,
red
that's quite
dye.
thick actually. Go for that.
It's like chocolate cake, but you're using lemon juice in the buttermilk, and there's red dye for sure.
Okay.
So it's red velvet.
Right, Erin, should we put
So-
some more flour in, please?
Okay.
A couple of
You
people
want that?
having issues just with their signal at the moment. So you've added some of the dry ingredients. to the bowl, followed by some of the buttermilk. And now you're adding the rest of the dry ingredients.
Yeah, we're just doing it gradually. So we've gone half the powder, half the buttermilk, half the powder, and then we'll put the rest of the buttermilk in. And then I'm going to add the red. Okay, love? Or use your finger then, just to get those bits out. That's it. That's perfect. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so start stirring that in. Okay, and then as Erin's stirring that in and getting it all over me, we will add the rest of the buttermilk.
Melanie says her milk hasn't thickened.
That's fine, neither did ours. It did yesterday, but it didn't today, so it's fine. Right, food colouring. If you have a liquid one, you could put a teaspoon in, say. I can't do that, sorry. Could you open that for me, sweet? We've got food gels because, hang on, sweet. Stop. So, that's okay, don't worry about that so much. We don't want to overmix the batter because we want to keep the air in.
Can I say something?
Hang on. What we're going to do, we've got gels because I use colourings more for colouring fondant, so I don't tend to add liquids. So it's fine, whatever food colouring you have, but ours, Erin, ours is so thick, what I'm going to suggest is, could you hold this pot for me please, darling?
Yeah.
Right, there we go. So I've just got a little bit there. And then Erin, what I'm going to do is, can you hold the spoon up? Hold the spoon up. I'm going to suggest that we mix that on the spoon. So if I hold the spoon, can you mix that onto that bit of batter?
I remember this.
If you've got liquid, you don't need to do this. But if you're using a gel, especially one as thick as ours, sometimes it's easier to mix it in to one part of the batter than trying to mix it into the whole lot at once.
Yeah.
Okay? Have you got rid of it? Okay, so if you just scrape it along, that's fine. If you scrape it along the spoon now, so we get rid of all the red gel. No, the cocktail stick. If you scrape
Heather
it
asked
along.
for the buttermilk. Did it need to be whole milk?
No, whichever. That's fine. Ours is semi-skimmed, I
For
think.
now,
Yeah.
before you put the red gel
Okay, you're going to give that a mix in,
dye
darling?
in, it should look like a chocolate mixture.
Yeah, so go on then, give that a mix.
And Louise, you are fine with the fact you put all the dry ingredients in, just add all the
Just
buttermilk.
add all the buttermilk.
And also, if they have like cocktail sticks, then use those.
What you'll find is the mixture starts to look, as it reacts to each other, it starts to look a bit mousse-like.
How much gel colour did you put in?
So I put in about 1/4 of a teaspoon.
Let's show them what.
There you go.
Can we have a bit more red?
No, we're not going to add any more red.
Let me mix.
If the batter is too thin, can you add more flour or cocoa to thicken it?
Yeah, just a bit more flour is fine. Erin, can I show people if that's alright? Done a really good job there. So you can see ours has still got a lot of the cocoa-y. I'm going to take that out for a second.
Yeah.
But it is a really thick batter.
When you actually cook it, it'll look really red. You won't even have one bit of brown. Really.
So you can see if I pick this up, it's not falling off the spoon. It's that thick.
Can I get a bit of taste test?
No.
What?
Not yet. So you have to wait.
Why?
So if you give us a thumbs up when you've got to that point, and then we're going to put it onto the baking trays.
Well, why can't I taste test it? Could you know when people taste test it?
Yeah, not yet.
What?
Louise's buttermilk curdled.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's the buttermilk anyway.
Yeah, well, you are curdling. By putting the acid with the milk, you are curdling the mix, so that's fine.
But Mummy, I know.
Okay, we've got some thumbs up, Erin.
But I know what it tastes like as a mixture. He's tested if it's a good mixture.
I know you like red velvet cake. You're just going to have to wait.
Can Sue use a hand mixer?
Yes, you can use a hand mixer.
I'll do it.
Hang on, wait.
And if it's too runny, what do you add?
You're going to want to add some flour, and if you feel that it needs to have a bit more chocolate, you can add that too. But yeah, just a little bit more. You might find if you use margarine rather than butter, it might be that bit thinner. Hang on, love.
I just want to get one ready.
Okay, but you don't want too much. These need to be quite small because they spread. Right, are we good?
Just a quick reminder of the oven temperature again.
So it's
185.
185 or 165 for fan or gas mark 4.5. Hang on, sweetie. Yeah, excellent. Right, so Erin, what I need you to do is put, what size? Hang on, we kind of want it about the same size as the back of a teaspoon. We don't want them too big, and you want a dollop of it. Oh, shake it off. Hang on. Oh. That's it. You want a dollop like that.
You should have just let me do it.
So hang on, let me show people. So I don't think, can they see that? It's quite small.
How can we?
And it's just dolloped. It's not been pressed down. It will spread out in the oven.
Yeah, have a look.
So I know you're not going to get some scale from that, but it's a teaspoonful.
Yeah, it's like this, but
No, it's not, darling, because that's the dessert spoon.
I know, but it's like the shape of this, but a bit smaller.
That's shape. It's a teaspoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Rianne's asking you spoil instead of baking parchment.
I've never tried it. It might stick to foil. If you've not got baking parchment, you can put it straight onto a tin, but grease your tin.
Rhoda has cupcake cases, so you can
If
use
you've
them
got
them.
cupcake cases, you can use those. Okay, are you going to do it then? Go on then. Try and keep them as circular as possible, so that when they're out, you get nice circular shapes. So, and give it a bit of space between the two, because they're going to spread out. That's it.
Like that.
Hang on, let me just... So I'm just making sure that they're a dollop rather than too spread out. So if you have got kids doing this bit, whilst it's nice and easy because it's just putting dollops onto a baking tray, you might just want to supervise to get the round shape. Hang on, Erin, what we might choose to do... That's it, teamwork, look.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's it.
Let
So,
me team up by you.
Make sure you've got a good inch between the two at least, because these are getting bigger. You do want them to spread out. As I said,
Oh, no.
Okay, lift.
Lift. Oh, that's quite big.
Well, we can shape as we go. If you have got a piping bag, you can do this with a piping bag, and you will get really nice shapes. But I try to avoid as much as possible any equipment that people won't have. There you go, Erin. Next week we're going to be making lemon meringue pie. A, it's a brilliant dessert. B, we had some interest in the lemon curd that we've been making ourselves. And C, it's Father's Day and it's Mr. Boozy Baker's favourite dessert. So, that's it, Erin. That's it. Well done. So we'll be making lemon curd next week. And as part of that, you will really want to have an electric whisk or a machine with a whisk attachment to do the meringue part. If you don't have that, you can just make the lemon curd if you wanted to.
Can we ask the fathers something?
You want to ask the fathers something?
Can you give us the ideas for...
For Daddy? Daddy's behind the camera.
I know,
But he'll get all the ideas then.
But afterwards.
Oh, right.
Afterwards, so Mummy can look at it.
Okay. Right. Sorry. We're going to end up with more here than our tray, but we'll make a tray's worth ourselves just to show you. You alright, Erin? You got some help again? Sorry, I'm a bit cat-handed today because I really can't turn my...
Can you do both?
Can you do both?
I think so.
You go for it. Yeah, I can't twist my wrist at all. It's very painful. So
This is just weird like this.
come on then. I have no clue what ours are going to look like today, but we'll give it a go. Hey, Erin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be in weird shapes. There's going to be cats, then there's going to be swans, and then there's going to be dogs, and
Alright.
then there's going to be chickens, and then there's going to
Alright.
be gooses.
How many should this mixture make?
So ordinary, I would have said between 10 and 12, because you're going to sandwich them.
Ours has been about like 12. Oh no.
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, don't worry. It'll be fine. If you have got a cookie cutter, if you do find them misshaped, you could always press them out whilst they're still warm.
Oh, that one's touching the tray.
That's fine. Don't make them too big, darling, because that's going to be the problem. I know it's really tempting, but they do grow.
If they don't have colouring gel, how much food colouring?
Just a teaspoon. You can add a couple of teaspoons at most.
There.
Depending on how red you want it. If you don't have red colouring, it doesn't matter because it is just for the look rather than the taste.
Can I just lick this?
No, because there's loads more in there, so we'll make some in a minute.
Can I?
To answer Pat, that should make around about $20 to $24.
Yeah.
I say I'll make about like 32.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Are you licking your fingers? You don't wash them up now. Right. So what we're going to do, we're not going to stop because we're going to make the filling, but we're going to put those in the oven. I'm going to hand those to Mr. Boozy Baker. So once you've got your tray filled with your dollops, if you've got more, you can put 2 trays in the oven, you want it at 185 or 165 for fan and gas mark 4.5. And we're going to put them in the oven for 10 minutes. So it's not that long. We're going to continue by making our buttercream.
Yeah, no spoon.
We just realised that we'd turned on the wrong oven for the size tray. Erin, can you pass me that cloth, please? That's it. Yeah.
I'm just going to get a spoon.
Okay. So we're just reorganising ourselves in the kitchen here. Mr. Boozy Bakers will be back onto your questions in a second.
Whilst we
So again, what oven temperature was it?
So it's 185 or 165 for fan, or 4.5 for the gas mark.
And lots of people have got loads of left as put them in cupcake cases or what else they can do with them.
Yeah, cupcake cases is fine. You can freeze these as well, or keep making whoopie pies. We haven't made all of ours. I think we had about 8 of them on there, and we've probably got enough to do about another 4 whoopie pies worth.
Whilst we wait, we'll be doing cream cheese. If you don't like creamy things, then you can just eat the whoopie pies on its own.
You could leave it just a sponge cake, couldn't you? And enjoy that.
Yeah, but if you like creamy stuff, or like cream cheese especially, then you can.
We're going to make that, aren't we?
Yeah.
I know that some people have asked about what happens if you can't get hold of icing sugar, and I did say that as an alternative you can do white chocolate ganache or any chocolate ganache.
Yeah, we've tried that. It was delicious.
And if you don't use cream cheese, how much extra butter?
So what did we do in the end? We did 30. So another 20 grams. You might want to add a bit more icing sugar if you like cream cheese. Do it on taste, what you like taste-wise. Depends how sweet you want your icing sugar.
And also,
Buttercream, sorry.
If you like buttercream, but not cream cheese, then you can just have buttercream. It still tastes good.
You can do buttercream with vanilla. We're going to do cream cheese, but if you are using chocolate, if you've got about say 200 grams of chocolate, and you add about 30 grams of boiling hot water, you might need to put it in the microwave for a bit. Depends on the chocolate, you might need to up that to about 50 millimeters, not grams, sorry. You can mix that together. You can either use hot cream, or you can use water. Water will absolutely do the trick, and you're just softening that chocolate and mixing it, and that will create a ganache that you can use between your whoopie pies. You alright?
I was drinking last coffee.
Okay. Have we got another bowl, please, so we can make the buttercream?
Wait, I thought it was just
How long are they cooking for?
10 minutes. 10 minutes in the oven.
I
Thank you.
thought it was just going to be butter in there, that in there.
No, they're too small, so we're going to use a smaller mixing bowl.
Okay,
So we're going to do the butter first, please, Erin.
How much butter is there?
So there's 30 grams here. We're not using masses. You're right. You're right.
yeah, I think
We're not using loads because we're just doing a thin layer to sandwich the whoopie pies together. If you do like buttercream and you want a lot of it, then double the amount. But we're doing 30 grams of butter. You alright?
Just pour the butter and you can still use the back.
Yeah.
Smush it a bit so it's a bit easier.
Are we okay? Is everyone keeping up?
Yeah, we've had about 3 people saying they've had problems with sound, but Been had that since the.
Hopefully you can hear me.
And hopefully you can hear me.
Right. So you've got your 30 grams of butter. And it's okay, leave it. Leave it. We'll wash it later. 30 grams of butter, and we're going to add. I'm going to add the icing sugar first, and then I'm going to add the cream cheese. So if you add the icing sugar, Erin, are we all right?
Lift it closer up to you because I think it's where you turn your head as well.
Is that better? Hopefully that's better. You might be right. Where I'm turning towards Erin today, it might not be picking up so well.
We're getting quite a lot of sound was breaking up. So
okay, sorry about that.
Minute to see if they can hear us.
Is that all right? Is that better now?
How much icing sugar have you used?
So that's 60 grams of icing sugar.
It should look like snow and a bit of butter underneath like this.
Okay, so we're going to mix that together before we add the cream cheese. Erin, careful, sweet.
No,
When you do big motions and you're quick, it spills out. So we have to do gentle motions to mix it.
yeah, because...
Don't worry. You're going to keep mixing.
Let me just do this. So we have...
That's it.
Good.
I feel it's gone very quiet today on the questions. Mr. Boozy Baker is trying to get... Oh, he's got the whoopie pies in now. There we go. Leave that to one side now. I hope you're all enjoying this still. We've got lots of questions about the bake, and I'm sure you're all busy with that. But I hope you're having fun too.
Can you just go through the icing?
So I've added 30 grams of butter and 60 grams of icing sugar, and we're just mixing that together at the moment. And then I'm going to add the cream cheese. If you don't want to use cream cheese or you don't have it, you can add a little bit more butter, say 20 grams, to mix it together.
Okay. I think people's sound's improved again. I think it is because of that.
Okay, I'm really sorry if sound's been a problem. Obviously, the only way we know that is by you guys telling us. So thank you for those that have pointed it out, and hopefully we've rectified that now. Okay, Erin?
No.
Don't worry about the edges so much. Just get the majority of it done. That's it. Good
I
girl.
don't feel like I'm really mixing anything except for flour.
No, you are. It'll get there. Do you want Daddy to have a go?
Charlotte says she's enjoying licking the spoons.
It feels like I've done it all.
Is light cream cheese okay?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
It feels like I've done it all.
So this morning I got round to uploading all your tea loaves as well. So sorry that took a bit longer than usual, but you'll find that the tea loaves, a lot of the pictures are on our Facebook post, and then we've got the link to the YouTube video now on that.
Yeah, and do we have our recipe book out?
The recipe book is almost complete. We're waiting on the photos for the whoopie pies. So if you want to share with us what you've made, we are about near to completion with the cookery book. We're just adding a few extra recipes that we haven't been able to do as a workshop. One of them is being a quiche. We had some requests for a quiche recipe workshop, but there was too much chilling and then baking and then putting it back in the oven again a few times. So we've done that just for YouTube.
Can I tell them how we
Hang on.
found out about whoopie pies?
Hang on in a minute. So we're going to create a workshop which is just going to go straight onto YouTube for you to follow for the quiche.
Okay,
cool. Are we okay?
If you're using white chocolate instead of cream cheese, how much?
So if you're adding the white chocolate to your buttercream, not a ganache, just flavouring, 30 grams of melted white chocolate rather than the cream cheese is fine.
No cheese.
I think so, yeah. I think you'll be fine with that. I don't know it very well, I've got to admit.
It should look like real kind of crust of
That's
butter.
it, you're nearly there.
It should look like crumbs of butter.
Okay, well add your cream cheese then and see if it comes together. So we're going to add 30 grams of the cream cheese.
Now can I tell them how we found out?
Okay, Erin, why do we like whoopie pies so much?
I was saying how much we found, like how we found out about them.
Yeah, stir and tell them then.
We found out about Whoopie pies in Disneyland.
You went to Disney World, didn't you? And
Yeah.
you found Whoopie pies in Epcot,
Yeah, 'cause
and you got a little bit obsessed by them.
we went to the restaurant, and then I just saw Whoopie pie, so I thought to try one. And then I loved it, and then I asked for another one, and then I had one more, but then you said no for another one. I loved them too much that I was going to ask for 100 now.
I think you got a little bit addicted to the red velvet Whoopie pies at Disney.
It's not that much.
There you go. So that looks pretty good, doesn't it? If you find that your buttercream has curdled slightly, add a little bit of icing sugar to it.
Yeah, let me just taste test it.
No, we don't need to taste test it.
What about it? That sugary?
Can you use mascarpone instead of cream cheese?
Yeah, it should be fine to do that.
What about this not?
Is that nice, Erin?
Delicious!
Delicious. Excellent. I think we might need a tiny bit more icing sugar. Could we have a little bit more icing sugar?
There's barely any in here.
Well, we don't need masses. If you do find that you don't have enough, just make the mix again. It's 30 of butter, 30 of cream cheese, and 60 of the icing sugar. I haven't made loads because it really depends on how much you like. Not all of it, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because of the cream cheese, I'll start just to separate a little bit, so we're just putting a bit more icing sugar in there. But feel free, as Erin's been trying to do all the way along, taste test it, see what you think. If you want it a bit sweeter, add a bit more icing sugar.
And because if you are worried about your red velvet cake, you can also taste test that, but someone won't let me taste test ours.
You'd eat the whole mix. It would
No,
never make
I
it to the
promise,
oven.
I promise. I'll just have a tag. I promise.
Ginny's asked, was it just 30 grams of cream cheese?
Yeah, just 30 grams of cream cheese. I said we haven't made loads. I might have been a bit stingy on this. If you want more, then make it 60 grams of butter and 60 of cream cheese and 120. I'm alright, thank you. No, I'm alright. And 120 of icing sugar. But it's literally just to sandwich the Whoopie pies together, so you don't need masses.
It's just a tad bit sweet.
Is it? Well, no, I'm alright. I'm good. If you're happy.
Tina's buttercream is very runny.
If it's really really runny, add a bit more icing sugar. So that's alright. So ours is kind of stuck to the a spoon, but we did add a little bit more icing sugar on ours. Erin, you have to behave yourself. I know you love it.
Louise is saying it's all smelling good.
Excellent. We're a little bit behind you now because we had to wait for the right oven. I bought these lovely baking trays. They're from Denby and they're beautiful. And I bought them and realised they are too big for the oven, but they do fit in our microwave combi oven. So I meant to put the top oven on, but we didn't, and the baking tray won't fit in the lower ones. So we've just had to wait for that to preheat. So you're all a lot more organised than us, but I will chat to you for a minute. If you want to do any shout outs, then please do. If you're fed up with me talking and you've got your Whoopie pies coming out the oven, then basically what we're doing is we're just having a little bit of a dollop. Don't go to the edges. Put a dollop of your buttercream in the centre. Once you've got to let them cool because otherwise it will just melt. But you put the dollop of the buttercream in the centre of your Whoopie pie and then squidge one on top and it will spread it out naturally.
So Louise and Kim have got their first batches out. They look good. Jenny has asked, how do you know when they're cooked?
So they will be springy to the touch. They will smell cooked, to be honest. That will be your first sign. But if you give them a little press, they should spring back.
Can I just try on something?
Michelle's got Arabella baking with her. She's age 10.
Well done.
Leanne's saying hi to her mum Sue. It's her first time.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us.
Becky says hi to her friends Amanda and Louise, who I think are both on here today too.
Brilliant.
Tracy again's asked, how long did they go in for?
10 minutes. You right, Erin?
It's just a
Kerry says hers hasn't risen. They look more like biscuits.
Oh. They will be flatter. I mean, they won't go straight up. They will spread, but they should look more like a burger bun in look, so that you can, when you sandwich them together, they've got that kind of nice ovally shape.
That's real blood. I had some blood.
Bogdan's got his first batch out. Is it right that they're still a bit soft to touch and bouncing back?
If they're bouncing back, they're fine, yeah. Oh, sorry, Erin's getting involved with looking at messages and not the camera.
It's to see.
That side.
Sorry, it's a bit chaotic today, and I'm sorry I'm not baking myself, but I'm just trying to rest up my wrist so I can actually get back to work ASAP.
Rianne's saying hello to friends Charlotte and Rosie who are baking for the first time.
Hiya.
Tina also said hers looked a bit like biscuits as well.
Oh. You put the self-raising flour and baking powder in?
Can I show them the buttercream and the red velvet mixture together?
Hopefully in the next minute or so we'll be able to show
we'll
you
get
ours.
ours out. Hopefully ours will have risen, otherwise I've missed a step somewhere, but hopefully not. So we're going to do lemon meringue pie next week. And then I'm thinking maybe of doing a biscuit for the following week. We will keep doing these as long as you guys are enjoying them. So we'll see.
When you take them out, do you leave them on a cooling rack?
You can leave them on the tray for at least a minute, just so they don't disintegrate. But once they've cooled a little bit, you can put them on a cooling rack. Yeah. Are we good?
Are they melted? Let's see.
Yeah.
Can we show
That's it.
that?
Yeah. Hang on, we will. Danny's just. Oh, sorry. Erin, can you move the buttercream away, please?
Cream. That's our beautiful patch.
There we go. So if you can see them on the screen, sorry, I'm being quite useless. Don't touch it, Erin, because it's really hot.
I told you. Cat, dog,
Stop.
goose.
So you can see if this to you looks like biscuits, you have still got some height. So don't worry, because remember you're going to sandwich the buttercream inside of them and put them together. So they'll be deeper than you think.
This much?
If they're absolutely flat, then there might have been an error, but or a problem, or maybe a bit of over mixing. But if they are just kind of spongy to the touch, as those are, then you just need to leave them to cool for a minute. You can't do anything with that, darling, until they've cooled a little bit. It doesn't take long.
So looking at them, they've come out, they're about 1.5 to 2 centimetres depth. They're not, maybe an inch. They're not much in height.
In height, I don't think they're that deep.
No.
But I mean, they are quite flat, but there's just enough of a curve on the end. See how they look when they're filled.
Bogdan might be the guy that quadruples the buttercream. It's delicious.
Go for it. We've made them before that we've filled them with the buttercream or with the cream cheese, and then we've rolled them into chocolate chips for extra naughtiness, and that's really good too.
And Lorraine's saying they taste gorgeous.
Excellent.
How are they already tasting?
You've got to just watch that doesn't touch the tray because it's a bit hot at the moment.
How are they already tasting?
Because we got the temperature of the oven on the wrong oven, so that could actually be switched off now, if that's all right. So everyone else got theirs out before us.
But how did they at least do the buttercream?
Well, they've probably got that, but they're probably just tasting.
Rachel asked, would it be better to use cupcake cases if I have them?
Well, it's just a different thing. So if you want a deep, dense cake, then put them into the cupcake cases. But whoopie pies are more like this. I want to fill one for you so I can show you. Hang on. If I can have some help from... So Mr. Boozy Bates is going to come and help me on screen for a second. So he won't be able to read your questions. Can we have a spatula, please? You're going to need the oven gloves as well so we can take them off of the tray.
be eaten alone because there's 50.
Oh, is that an odd number? Oh no.
So that one's going to get eaten.
Okay.
It looks.
Have you not just got a normal spatula at all? Sorry, I didn't get one out earlier. Oh, that'll do. It's not quite what I was looking for, but hopefully it'll do.
Remember, your cheese cream should look like this. It should be sweet, but not too sweet.
No, it's fine. It's alright, we're just talking off screen. Erin, just put the bowl down, sweetheart.
Okay.
Right, hang on. Daddy's going to help. That'll be better because it's wider. Could you help with this, if that's alright?
I want to do it.
Well, it's hot, so I'm going to get Daddy to pick it up.
Daddy.
Hang on, Erin. Okay, if you could lift it off the rack. You alright?
Yeah.
I'm asking the impossible, aren't I? We'll be back on your questions in a minute, I promise. Okay. No. I was trying to put them on the rack so they cooled. I'm really missing my right hand, that's for sure. I'll put these on a tray now. Bit cat-handed today.
And then we can put me one to scoop the cheese cream and pop them on top.
Hang on though.
When they've cooled down. On the flat side though. If it's the bumpy one, then nah.
Hang on, sorry for the silence. Obviously concentrating. As you can see, they're just lifting off nicely now. They're not going to break. Just put that one down, sweetie.
I like this one. It's mini. Like me. I'm mini.
We'll be back on your questions soon, I promise.
I can do it.
You're going to do the questions, are you? Don't knock the ladder.
I'm worried. I don't really.
Oh, that one broke. That's an Erin's one then.
Hey, no it isn't. My ones aren't broken. Your ones are.
Stop.
Or it's Max's ones.
Right. Okay.
I
I'll
can't.
put that one there. Oh, I'm breaking them.
Oh.
Okay. Watch out, Erin. Come across.
Somebody had to do 3 trays.
You did 3 trays, but we have got a large tray actually.
I could barely see anything.
Okay. So Diane's asked, can you freeze them once they're filled?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, someone's used 3 trays. Susan's on the second batch are huge.
3 trays.
Jenny's finished and iced them, so I'm hoping the icing hasn't.
Yeah, do make sure that they've cooled down. It doesn't take too long. Wait, Erin.
And Helen is eating her third, warm with the filling spread just before consuming.
Erin, do you want to try some?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm really cat-handed today. It's so annoying.
And Ronan has used a cookie cutter to make them all the same shape.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. It depends how rustic you want them, but if you want them all uniform, get a cookie cutter and cut them out. Is that nice?
It needs a bit more sweetness.
Well, you don't need more sweetness because you've got the texture, and then you add the sweetness more with the buttercream.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
That'd be good. So yeah, do as you've got them ready to cool. I was hoping we'd be able to ice these, but because we had the bit of the oven problem, they have got a bit of heat. So if you do want to sign off for this week, that's no problem. Show us your photos, we'd love to see them. But if you want to stay with us, we'll stay on a bit longer until these are cooled, and then we'll fill them and we'll show you how we fill them. But it will be just putting a teaspoon of the buttercream in the centre and squidging it so that it fills it, a bit like a macaron really.
Okay, can we start?
What else have we done this week? We started something new, didn't we? What have we been making lots of? We're making loaded cake boxes. So on our shop, obviously we do lovely cupcakes and things to be collected locally, but we wanted to offer more on our shop for those of you that are a bit further afield. So we've been doing loaded cake boxes, which are just packed with flavour. We've got a limoncello meringue with limoncello sponge cake, limoncello buttercream, lemon curd, meringue, Biscoff biscuits, and they are so good. Erin, stop playing. Good girl. I know, but not now. And then, what was the other flavour? You like the look of the other flavour. Do you remember? What's the other one? We did a lemon one, and one that wasn't boozy.
One which was pink.
No, we did the Rocky Road one, didn't we?
Oh yeah, Rocky Road.
And that was that's chocolate, marshmallows, chocolate ganache, biscuits, homemade biscuits, white chocolate. No, I know you're trying to finish them all. Go on, you have that one.
No, there's a bit there, Mummy.
Don't worry, that's Daddy's putting them on the tray. Yeah, so they're available in the shop now, and you get 2 big boxes in one of our parcels sent to you straight to your door, and they're available, and we're posting out every weekday. Have we got any questions coming up?
Just a lot of thank yous and
You're very welcome.
saying how much they've made out of this.
I'm really sorry for if it's felt chaotic today. It has a little bit for me because I've not been able to do it myself. And Mr. Boozy Baker is having to put up with me all day, getting highly frustrated that I'm not able to join in. Fortunately, he's actually, although he's behind the scenes, he's actually a very good baker himself. So he's been making sure that all the orders are fulfilled. And hopefully, Erin Wilder, you're going to be a mess in a minute. Hopefully the pain will have eased over the next couple of days to get back onto it myself, and in the meantime I'm doing more admin and loading on things to YouTube and finishing the recipe book.
2 things.
Yes.
What if we get Daddy to do one? And also, remember, give us pictures of what you've been doing.
Be polite.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes. For those of you who joined late, we do have, we will be putting this video straight onto Facebook once we've come off air.
Yeah.
And we will be adding to YouTube during the week. Please go to YouTube, look at all of our videos. Please like the videos and subscribe.
So I wonder if we can, it's still a bit hot, What should we do one, just so that you can taste it? It might melt a bit, but go on then Erin. Can you put, you're a mess now aren't you? Look. It's not great food hygiene standards going on here. Go on then, since it's just us. Right, just a little dollop in the middle. You don't need too much. That's it. That's it. That's it. Right, now get a matching size one. Maybe this one?
Oh,
This one? No. That's it. And put that on top. And then we squish it. Go on then.
I don't see it.
It's there. We could have maybe put a bit more in. Go on then, try that.
No, I want some sugar.
No, it's fine.
I want some chocolate chips.
No, we can't do chocolate chips today.
Isabel saying thank you, really enjoyed it. We've never made whoopie pies before. Laura, looking forward to lemon meringue next week.
Yeah, me too. We are doing a biscuit base next week. If you don't want a biscuit base, if you want a true pastry case, you can always buy one. But just it's such a mess. Just because we're doing the 3 different elements, just for time purposes, we decided to do a biscuit base, which will taste delicious. But if you are traditional, you can either make one beforehand or buy a pastry case and put your filling in.
Probably didn't turn out like this.
Well, it's because it's warm. If you give it a bit of time, it would be lovely. This is just normal Erin, to be honest. Right, we will leave you to it whilst ours cool, but we look forward to seeing your photos. And if you have a little one devouring them like this and you want to share your photos of licking bowls or eating appallingly, then please feel free to share with us, and I will be back with a working arm next week for lemon meringue pie. Thank you very much. Please do like our page, do share our workshops, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to watch them on there. Thank you very much.
And also subscribe for me to eat more nicely.
Okay, bye.